Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today it's a bit different, as you can see. We have a face cam and we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. This is sort of a budget deck. You guys can easily get into it. As you can see here, we have Crusadia. Crusadia is a nice budget OTK deck as most of the cards are around 20 cents. So go and pick it up if you wanna. It's also a good engine in other decks like Dragon League, as it provides a way to link climb up to a rank link 4 with just 2 monsters, so ending Crusadia and an extender. Okay, let's get into the deck list, shall we? We play 3 Maximus. All the Crusadia monsters, by the way, special summon themselves in defense to a link monster that points to. And Maximus, his special effect is you can target a Crusadia link you control. Battle damage it does by a monster damage, so you can't do direct damage double. So when it battles an opponent's monster, it deals double battle damage basically. Next, Maximus is your most important card. Next is second most important, which is Crusadia Draco. Same as all the Crusadia effects, so let's just get that out of the way. All the Crusadia special summon themselves. Okay, so Draco's effect is it just grabs you a Crusadia card from the graveyard when it's special summoned. You want to usually with Draco chain link. So with extras, they have different effects to add certain monsters or spells from your deck to your hand. And Draco just allows you to protect it with a chain link. So hide it in the chain link, as it is mandatory, the link, and then you can just chain this. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, let's move on to Leonis. You do play all the Crusadians are free, even though some of them are bad, but you need them as they extend. Leonis is piercing. Usually doesn't come up unless you're going against the Guru deck or something similar to that nature. Next, your protection, Crusadia Arborea. It just protects. You usually want to start with this if you have it in hand, just normal summon it, go into Link 1. And if they try to gamma your Link 1 or any of your monsters, you have protection. Next, we play the Reclusia at 3. That's a pop. With Arborea in Graveyard, that's just a free pop because Arborea will protect the monster you target to destroy on your side of the field. It's also very good if you're forced to go first, as there's a certain trap card that we run that's searchable, so we run out one, as we like to go second. That allows you to tribute a Crusadia and special anyone from the deck, and since all of these trigger on summon, except for Maximus and Leonis, you're good. Moving on to some starters and extenders, we play Full Mud Skipper. It just reveals a Link monster in your extra deck and it becomes that name, so you reveal Spapper. It becomes Spaffer, then you can link onto the Link ones and get your play starting. Also, when it's sent to the grave as Link material, you get to add the next card. The next card we have is Parallel Exceed. It's just a free summon and gets another body on the field. And in a pinch, you can go into Utopia and Utopia Lightning. So if your opponent sets like 5 back row, that's an easy way to out that. Next, we play 3 Ash as our hand trap. You don't want to overstock on hand traps or board breaking cards. I know, weird, but the reason why is because this is a going second deck, and if you stock up on too many hand traps and you see all of them in only one Crusadia, you're stuffed. You need to see at least 2 Crusadia monsters in your hand in order to do something decent, or at least Full Mod Skipper and any monster, including Parallel Exceed. With Parallel Exceed, by the way, you can activate its effect with no targets. So don't be scared if you have like 2 in hand and you already used 1 and it's a turn later. So don't be scared about that. You can use its special summon effect. You don't have to activate the one that specials from deck. Okay, moving on to our Kaiju list, since it gives our opponent a big body monster, which our main boss monster in the extra deck is a Link 4, or Link 3. It's Equimax, Link 3, oops, sorry me. Kaijus just get rid of problematic boss monsters like Dragoon, and give our opponents something that can boost our monsters. With kaijus, make sure you put it above the extra zone. If you don't, then there's no real reason to kaiju, because you're just giving them a free body unless you do something with it. So yeah, we play 2 Thunder King because of the highest attack, and 2 Jusakura because of the highest attack, and we play 1 Dogoran just in case we happen to draw 2 Jusakura or 2 Thunder King. Now you know why we play that, because it interrupted Kaiju Slumber, destroy all monsters on the field, special summon 2. So Dogoran's just in there just in case we brick on Kaijus. Next we play free Crusadia power. It just makes your Crusadia monster unaffected. You don't want to resort to using this on Equamax, but sometimes you have to, like if they chain Infinite Impermanence to you negating something they have. Sometimes you're forced to, and that makes all the battle damage from Maximus and so on not happen anymore because it's only affected by its own effects now. Same with the field spell. The field spell is brilliant, by the way. We play it at 1 because it's searchable. Crusadia, Revival. The reason we don't play Power 1, by the way, real quick, is because it gives protection. When there's like 12 hand traps in the game at the moment, just having protection on your Link 1 search is amazing. If they chain Ash, just chain Power. I know it seems like a waste, but if you're going to OTK, then you might as well OTK without a problem. Anyway, moving on to the Revival. It gives all your Link monsters, Crusadia Link monsters, 500 attack, and allows 1 Crusadia Link monster you control to attack all your opponent's monsters, but your monsters can't attack, so keep that in mind. Don't summon a kaiju with equal max, use this, and then expect to attack with a kaiju because it's mislethal. No. We have a spicy tech now with Black Gun. Black Gun with the Crusadia Revival is amazing. Activate Black Gun after your Link 1, not before, after. Black Gun just special summons tokens to your opponent's side of the field, or 800, and special summon an attack. So if you don't have a kaiju for your opponent's side of the field in hand, just stock up the board. And with Revival, you can make your monster attack 5 monsters, because they have 5 tokens if they didn't summon anything they bricked. It's an easy way to OTK without them having any monsters, because they bricked or they set 4 spells and traps. Next, we have the 1-for-1 for the format skipper. Simple. If you open like 3 kaijus and 1-for-1, you better hope it resolves, but if it does, you're off. Okay, next we play the 1 terraforming to search a Revival or Black Gun. It depends on the situation, like if you know they have an interruption but they haven't used it yet, and you go into Link 2 and they don't interrupt that, and you have terraforming in hand, you should be good if you just activate power. Like get power off the Paladin, this one, and then you use terraforming to search a Revival. They'll probably Ash the terraforming. If it isn't Ash, like it's just a monster negate, then you're good from that. Then the 1 Crusadia Vanguard. It's your turn 1 play. You just set this with a power if you get lucky, and in Equamax, so that's a negate. An interruption with a pop from your Vanguard and protection. That's the best you're gonna do unless you so power. Vanguard, if you're wondering what it does while I'm going off. When you activate it, you can tribute a Crusadia monster, special summon a Crusadia with a different name from your deck. So you have Equamax on the field, and you have Arborea and let's say Maximus. Since you're forced to go first, I would guess, or something else. You tribute off the Arborea to special summon a Recluse from deck when they go off. Then Recluse's effect will activate, destroying itself and a card they control. But since Arborea is in grave, you can protect it. I don't know about protecting it or not, since if you have 2 monsters under Equamax, you shouldn't. But if there's only 1, you will be forced to, since you need that negate from Equamax to deal with stuff that you don't want resolving. And that's an easy interruption. As well as it makes them so they have to attack the Link monsters. As long as you control Crusadia Link, they have to attack it. That's important because your opponent, if you usually don't have this, they'll attack what your equal max is pointing to first to get rid of the negate and the attack gain, then they'll attack the equal max. Moving on to the extra deck, you play 3 equal max, which is your boss monster. You link climb into him, usually don't summon him normally, which is 2 monsters and a link. It gains attack equal to all the monsters it's pointing to, including the one it points to on your opponent's field. That's why Kaiju is important. And once per turn, quick effects, so during every player's turn, tribute Crusadia or World Legacy monsters points to it, and target a face-up card negates effects. So this will help against infinite opponents, but when they use that, it's usually during the middle of your combos, so that's why power, I'm running out 3. That card's really important when there's like 12 hand traps in the game at the moment. Next, we have the Regulex. This just gets you a spell and trap. Has the same effect as Equamax or the Crusaders do. Again, attack equal to the cards they point to. This is just your spell and trap circle. If you open up power and terraforming, then just immediately grab another power or paladin if you think you won't be able to OTK this turn. This is a going second deck, just to remind you, so don't expect to pop off turn 1 because the best you're going to do is have 2 negates usually, which is just the equal max and power, which isn't really a negate, it's just protection. If not power, then you'll have paladin, which is a block. So 2 interruptions, 1.5 usually. Next, your Link 1. This is your most important monster, I'd say. Just any Crusadia monster, you can bring it up. So Link 2, I know, weird, since it's just one Crusadia monster, but that's important as it's allow you to bring out your Link 3 a lot easier if you break. This just gets you a monster. Well, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Regulex and Magius. You need to special summon to the zones. So if your Kaijin opponent's monster doesn't have a Kaijin in hand, that works because it just has to be an effect monster, not a Crusadia monster. So yeah, this guy just searches your another Crusadia monster. You usually want to search Maximus, so if you have Maximus in hand, get Draco for the normal summon Crusadia monster used as Link. Moving on, we have 2 Spatter. This is just as a target from Full Mud Skipper usually. It usually doesn't come up ever, but if it does, then you're in a bit of a pickle. It's just a target because the other ones, plus if you just target Spatter, they might think you're running just Dragon Link or Rockets. So I recommend not targeting Magius. If you do that, you can't go into Magius, so don't. Next, we have Xyz, Abyss Dweller. If you have a really bad hand, you have to resort to going to Link 1, special summoning to Exceed pass. You can at least make an Abyss Dweller or one of the other ones, because Exceed becomes level 4 and it's special summoned by the effect of Exceed. So that's important. Next, Baguska, the store. You grip really hard, and like I said before, Exceed. Next, we have the Utopia package. 5 set spells and traps, or you need to get some damage onto equal max for game. Just go into Utopia in defense position, and that gives it 2,500 boost. Next, for the side deck, we run Triple Solemn Judgment. This is when you know you're going first. Usually side out 2 power to. Your side targets are the Doggerant, 2 of the powers, the Black Gun, and 1 of the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. So altogether that's 3, 4, 5. You have 5 side targets. So you side 3 in when you know you're going first for Judgment. Easy negate. Red Reboot and the 3 Cosmic Cyclones if you know you're up against Spell and Trap deck. You side those in, you get rid of 2 power and 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, as the Black Garden will come up if it's Mystic Mind deck. Weirdly enough, Mystic Mind can't out itself. So you give them 5 tokens by link climbing, and then you use Revival and Equal Max to attack over for game, even though they have Mystic Mind on the field. It's pretty good. Black Garden is really useful. Next, we just have general interruptions. We have Caught by the Grave for when you're forced to go first, because going second, you don't really care about Caught by the Grave, sorry. Plus, it's only at 1 now, so it's just more of an interruption now. So when you're going first, side that baby in. If you're going up against Dragon Link, side all these in. These are just hand traps, Effect Veiler and Gamma with the driver. For siding these in, which is 7 cards, I'll get rid of the Black Garden, the Terraforming, so 2 of the Power, so 4, 2 of the Kaiju Slumber, so 6, and 1 Jizukuru, 7. You still have most of your engine there, and if it's a combo deck, you need as much interruption as possible. That gives you 9 hand traps to do something. Okay, so let's just get on to some games, shall we?